Good night, sweet prince.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Or maybe not. There are now numerous alternatives to burying your loved one. Actor Luke Perry went to heaven in a compostable mushroom suit, while journalist Hunter S. Thompson was shot out of a cannon. You can donate your body to science, get composted, or go full Viking. But many families want something a bit more tangible. Returnity takes pets' ashes and turns them into stones. Now, Tracy Austin's done the same with her mother.
I was Mum's shadow my whole life. I was always tagging along behind her. A very caring lady and, you know, clearly loved her children. She loved attention, so I think she would be thrilled that we're actually gone to the effort to think about what she would have liked.
Returnity is making the stones in collaboration with Callaghan Innovation in a process inspired by ceramics.
What we tried to do for Returnity stones was minimise the amount of foreign material that's introduced to the process, to try and make it so that as much of the material that was given to us ended up in the stone itself. So limiting ourselves to very few additives, but mostly pressure and heat. We've never imagined that we'd be dealing with that sort of material when we got up. Most of the engineers and scientists in our team never worked with that material before. So that's the opportunity of working for companies like Returnity, is the opportunity to apply science in completely new areas.
Finally, Tracy's mum gets a tranquil resting place.
I've always known that Mum wanted to go to Treasure Island in Fiji. It was her lifelong dream. This way, Mum can sit in the sun for as long as she likes, which she used to love doing. So we're just going to take this to Fiji instead and have a little wee family ceremony.
Peter Russell is the Managing Director of Returnity and he joins us now. Peter, where did this idea come from?
Well, it came from personal experiences, really. You know, I thought there had to be a better way than the ubiquitous toot-toot as someone drives past the cemetery. I thought there had to be a better way of interacting with our lost loved ones.
Peter, aside from geologists, who else do you think will be into these stones?
I think most people will be into this. I mean, if you think about it these days, most of us are getting cremated, yet most of us don't know what to do with the ashes, and no one has a mantelpiece anymore. So this is a more modern way of interacting with a lost loved one.
Tracy was your first client for a human stone. I'm just wondering, is it more emotional for you making the transition from going from pets to doing a human?
Definitely. I've got to say, moving from the pet, I mean, it was one thing working on people's pets. Pets are really important, of course, and integral family members, but gee, it's another level altogether when you start working on a person and you are handling someone's lost one, their mum, their husband. It's quite something.
Hey, Peter, how much does this cost?
Well, you know, if you want a bunch of small ewes, from as little as $249, or a larger ewe is about $799.
And what would you want yourself made into a number of small stones for?
Well, it could be a really neat way of, it's almost like a bucket list after you've departed. I want to be in a number of places, a number of destinations, places perhaps I've never been to. Take me there once I've passed, or put me somewhere meaningful that people can come and visit me. So that would be the idea of multiple small stones.
You're stoning up pets, you're stoning up humans. How do we know that the stone that we get is definitely Grandad and does not contain any traces of cat?
No, each is handled absolutely separately. When we make a person, there's no piece of cat, there's no piece of dog in there, and likewise, every stone is very carefully handmade and kept very separate from the next one.
Have you had much interest from Kiwis keen to do this?
Yes, lots actually. In fact, we have one client who wants to be made into 10 or 12 stones to be sent around the world. So that's becoming a recurring theme. Send me somewhere interesting that I couldn't get to, perhaps when I was living.
Love it. I think I'm sold. Peter, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Kia ora, welcome along to the project. Look, Nathan Varda is here. Interesting idea, eh? Love to know what you think. Tell us on our Facebook page. You are almost sold, you say?
Well, he said about, places you haven't been. I'd really like to go to that little island, in the middle of Lake Taupo.
Right.
So this is kind of what I want. I want to be one of those rocks. This is just some footage here of me. This is my funeral. How are we going to do it? So there.
You're going to the island.
Nice idea.
There's a lot of pressure on that throwaway.
There is. Is it going to go the whole way? Oh, it is. That's not even pumice.
Oh, I mean, if you threw it and it just went thunk, you'd be pretty gutted.
Yeah, I'd be
yeah.
Well, if the rock doesn't appeal, there are all sorts of ideas around the world of things that they can do with your ashes. You can be turned into jewellery or a glass sculpture or maybe some paint so someone can create a portrait. Which one would you like of all the ideas that are out there?
Apparently you can get put into shotgun shells, so you could be shot at things. So I'd like to be something useful.
Quite a violent way of...
yeah, only if you're a rabbit or whatever it is.
No, thank you. I don't want to be turned into
Vinyl
anything.
records, favourite artists.
I mean, sure, but it just seems like too much handling from, sort of strangers who were like, whoa, I'm doing science to this ashes.
I won't let anyone touch you. I'll be in charge of the vinyl.
Yeah, and please don't turn me into a rock. Like, if you are going to turn me into something, a beautiful, precious piece of artwork or a diamond, but a rock, I can get those anywhere.
Well, lots of people are into it, and as I say, really interested to know whether you would do it yourself.